What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ladies Who Bronche. I am Julissa.
What's good, everybody? This is Skittles.
And this week, we have a dope queen in the house. She does a lot of awesome things, but I met her through watching her at a comedy show that was held at WeWork Harlem. And I'll let her say a little bit more about herself. Suraiyah, who the fuck are you?
Hey.
Hey.
It's me, Suraiyah. Who the fuck am I? It's funny, we was running our mouths so much before, and now I'm like, I'm from the Bronx.
Yes.
I grew up in the Bronx and Harlem. I'm a Pisces. I feel like people should know, like, I be wanting people to know that.
Yeah, that's important information. We're all Pisces here today.
Yes.
Very important.
I want people to know out the gate that, like, hey, I am into astrology. I like it very much. And if you don't, that's fine. But you should know this about me. It's an important part of my identity, I feel.
Yeah.
And I was really excited to learn that you guys are Pisces as well. What else can I tell you about me? I'm a stand-up comedian. It's hard for me to say sometimes. I'm like, I'm a stand-up comedian and an actress and a blah, 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 because I don't feel like I act on a ton of projects. But that's the goal. That's the goal. What else? I can't think.
So no, that's actually okay. So how did we get to? Because stand-up, not everybody is a stand-up comic. Although I feel like in the comic world, it does feel like everybody thinks they're a stand-up comic. The same way actors in the acting world, it's like everybody's an actor, right? But like, I personally think stand-up comedy takes a very specific kind of courage. How do you happen upon stand-up comedy?
So that's a great question. So I didn't always know that I wanted to perform stand-up. I always knew that I wanted to act, and I always knew I wanted to be a comedic actress because I've always been funny. I've always felt funny, known it. And so I felt very confident about that kind of a career path. But for many, many, many years, like I'm 33 now, I'm going to be 34. If that's something that I knew about myself at maybe like, I want to say 10, then it didn't, not until it was maybe like 29, I think, did I actually really take a chance on just doing something. Like, I knew that I wanted to act. I knew that I wanted to do these things for such a long time, and I was so fucking scared. I was mad scared of putting myself out there. And, you know, coming from the hood, I was raised by my mother. There were 4 of us who she pretty much raised by herself. There was no fucking resources for no acting classes. Like, she didn't know the first thing about what to do about your child wants to be. Your child knows she's going to be something big. She knows it. Like, deep down, she knows that shit. But how do you get her on the path so that she can put those things into practice? So, you know, as much as I love my mom and I feel like she did an amazing job, she's my best friend. She's my biggest supporter. She supports everything I do. Like, I could do porn and my mother would support me. I'm dead ass. Like, it might not be what she would choose for me, but she would still support me.
Wow.
So she's amazing, but she didn't have those resources. She didn't know. And so for a long time, I just was in that I don't know how to do this for myself space. And you would see people, oh, why don't you do this? Or why don't you go out for auditions? Why don't you this? Why don't you that? And I'm just like, I don't know how to do those things. I don't know how to do those things, and I'm scared. So how do I get there? You know, like, I feel like I'm constantly coming from this place of lack. How do I have the confidence to do these things? You know, where you're going up against kids who, you know, took them to meet agents and bought them headshots and got them acting classes and all this shit. And you like, you fucking eating ramen and fried chicken sometimes because that's what you can afford.
Right. Yeah.
And you gonna tell that kid, like, yeah, why don't you do this? I don't know the first thing about doing that shit without money. Yeah. You know? So for a long time, it took me, I just was scared. I just had to let myself feel it until I got to a place where it was burning inside me. Like, I would watch movies and TV shows and see people doing things that I knew. Like, I know I can do that shit. I know I can, and I can be something different than what you see on TV, you know?
Yeah.
And I finally, like, a friend of mine, I started taking these improv classes, and improv let me know that I wanted to be on stage by myself. I don't want to share the stage with any motherfucking body. Fuck all of y'all. Because in improv, a lot of times what happens is you wind up being one of the only persons of color in the class. And I'm like, you guys don't have any fucking clue, you know? A lot of things get said, a lot of racially insensitive shit. And you can't censor people. So you're just dealing with this otherness. This looming feeling of otherness. And that, taking those improv classes, it was like, you know what? I have a large personality, but it doesn't compete with others. If you have a very big personality, I'm not going to compete with you to show mine. It's just going to happen. So either we repel each other or we don't. Yeah. And I'm fine with that. And with improv, it's like everybody wants to be funny. Everybody wants to be this. And it's like, so it's like, I don't know how to do this, so I need to do what I know, which is just do me. And I decided to pursue stand-up. For years, I had been writing just like random ass notes in this notebook that said, I'm fucking funny. Like, that's the first comedy book I ever wrote. I'm fucking funny. And I just would write random notes. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to write jokes. And eventually a friend of mine who had written a book, she was like, hey, I'm doing this book signing. I'm having like an open mic. Will you come perform stand-up comedy? And it was like the trick that I needed to get me to do that. Because otherwise I don't know how I would have done it on my own, you know? So I went and I did maybe like 10 minutes. I had crafted as best a set as I could do, you know? Yeah. And it went great. It went great, and it just kept going great. I'm not saying I don't bomb, but I stepped out the gate decent. Yeah. Decent. And I was not surprised at myself. I just felt like this is where the fuck I'm supposed to be. So no matter how like nervous I get before a show or whatever, like I don't get as nervous all the time now, but the moment it's like, oh, you know, next comic coming to the stage, Suraiyah Ortiz. I hear that, I get on stage, I'm good.
Ortiz.
I'm good.
Fuck it up. I don't know. I always get hyped when I meet another Ortiz. The same way with you. When you meet another Contreras, you're like, you get hyped too.
Yeah. There's not many of us, I feel like. Yeah.
I don't hear Ortiz a lot either.
No, other than the funeral home. That's always the joke with us.
It's a large part of the joke. That's like my biggest joke.
Yeah.
That's mad funny because I actually never made that correlation with you, but now I can't unhear that. I'm not going to unhear that. But yeah, that sounds, that's taking life by the horns. It's seriously, really at its core. And that's a wonderful way. And so you've been doing stand-up comedy for how many years now?
It's been about 4.5.
4.5.
Give or take. Wow. I kind of lose track because I don't keep track. I'm just like, you know what? It just is what it is. Yeah. I don't need to be like, this is my comedy birthday and I've been doing it for exactly. It's just like, look, I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
100%. And what's your favorite thing? I mean, like, what's your favorite thing about stand-up comedy? What are your favorite sorts of audiences and places to perform at?
I love that question. I like to perform at a lot of different kinds of places, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, this could be bittersweet sometimes. I personally love performing for my people the best. And when I say my people, I mean Black and Latino people. I love performing for audiences of people who look like me, who, you know, we don't all think the same, but who think like me, who have come through some of the same things as me. That's where I feel the most at home, and that's generally where I tend to have my best performances because I can relate, and they can relate to me. And that's where I tend to feel the most on. But I also really enjoy performing in places that are very, very different from that because, you know, there's something that like people of color have that is not universal. Yeah. It's amongst us. And when other people see that, it's just like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Look at this woman, just confident and shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And they enjoy that about you too. So I like that. I don't remember the other part of your question.
No, I was just saying, like, where do you like to? So definitely for your, you know, your community. Are there specific comedy clubs or places that you like love being at?
I'm still, you know, I haven't been in comedy clubs as much as maybe I feel like I'd like, but by the same token, I think that's okay, and I think it'll come in its time, and where I tend to, I don't know if I have a specific venue. You know what? I really like performing at Mott Haven Grill.
Nice. Yes.
I performed there so many times at this point. Shout out to Neon Therapy. That's a really good show that happens every third Tuesday of the month at like 7:30. I really like that show. Oh God, this is like escaping me right now, but there's like a number of places in Harlem that I like to perform at.
Nice.
There's been some cool spots that I performed at in Brooklyn. Like for the most part, I've been in New York City.
Yeah.
So I, like travel all around and do stuff. But I think like Harlem and some of these little Bronx spots be.
Yeah, I love that you said Mott Haven Bar and Grill. That little area there with Bronx Native and Double Dutch Espressos.
That's where I live.
And, that's like right.
Oh no, wait, let me not tell people that.
Never mind. So in the general,
they're like, we don't care about you. Who the fuck is you? Where you live?
But no, that area I do love. There is a scene there, and I hate saying that. That sounds so like gentry. There's a scene there.
It's like the
there's a scene, but I mean that in a way of like, oh, for me, like there's a scene for us that exists there, and I'm really excited to tap into it more because I feel like for some reason it's like either you know about it or you don't know about it. There's no real in between with these because there's the people who realize that there's beautiful things happening in the Bronx, and then the people who still refuse to believe that shit will ever touch us, and so they're stuck in the East Village. You know what I mean? Bar hopping, and they won't go to Mott Haven Bar and Grill, and they won't have brunch at Charlie's or Havana Cafe or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they won't come to these places.
Right.
And I'm really of the mentality where I'm wanting to shift that. Like, I want to be in the Bronx. I want to be here. I want people to come to the Bronx. I'm tired of going to fucking Williamsburg and shit like that to experience what? Like, and with who? You know what I mean? Like, I get tight every time they don't play, like, some, like, at least one reggaeton or one shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in my feelings.
And then when you actually do end up going to these places in the Bronx and they are playing, like, the right music and they are, like, it is the right vibe and you do feel comfortable. Like, I was at, and I want to shout out G Bar for literally everything that you just said. Like, last night I was at G Bar right by Hostos College. Nice. And, they have the pizza shop out in the front, but then they have in the back, it's like a restaurant and a bar.
Oh.
And they have a live DJ. And
wait a
Like
minute.
2 floors.
Giuliani's?
Yeah. It's called G Bar. But it's like
Giovanni's. I'm like Giuliani's. They're like,
so like the back is like G Bar, but then the front is like Giovanni's.
Oh yes.
It's just lit in there. Yo, the pasta's good. The pizza's good. The fucking wings are good.
I'm over here.
The sangria.
He said
guys,
the pasta. I'm
shout
like,
out to G Bar.
Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, so that see, a lot of excitement here. That's what I mean. It's like there's definitely the space. The space is here and we just have to come.
Right.
We just have to come. Anyway, I didn't mean that to veer off of your story.
No, I love it.
We have people doing stand-up comedy in the Bronx. Like, come to a comedy show in the Bronx. Like, you know what I mean? And
definitely.
They're not, like, in your face in Times Square, like, trying to, like, come
we don't bark.
Yeah, you're yelling at barking.
We're not doing that shit. We want real people coming to our shows. Not some, let me not shade the people who...
Listen.
Nothing, guys. Carry on.
Well, speaking about food, let's start getting into our questions and ask you what your favorite brunch plate is.
I'm definitely like, I love waffles. I love chicken and waffles.
Yes.
Amy Ruth's, to me, has some of the best chicken and waffles. Solomon and Cuff has really, really good chicken and waffles.
Have you had it with the fish?
Yes. The fish is really fucking good. I worked there for a few months. Wasn't the best work experience for me. However, I do like the establishment. The food is really, really good. Their brunch parties are, I mean,
that rum
when you
punch.
Listen, not just the liquor, but like the atmosphere. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Like, I like a brunch where I like a ratchet ass brunch, you know, like motherfuckers dancing in the aisles and shit.
Yeah.
You know, eating and just like bopping and shit like that.
To the music. Yes.
Not like this like contained kind of hoity-toity fucking.
It should feel like a party in the afternoon so that once I'm in bed by 7 p.m. I feel accomplished.
Like what? Like when else do you get to feel this happy? Like fuck, can we have something? The week is hard. Work is hard. So I think I love chicken and waffles.
Yes, chicken and waffles. And then, what are you drinking with that?
Probably like a Bellini or a mimosa.
Ooh, all right, let me put you on. I've mentioned this on the episode before. Me and my friend Haley have the perfect Bellini ingredients, right? You got a bottle of Prosecco.
Wait, let me write this down.
Yeah. So you get a bottle of Prosecco.
Okay.
And then you get like one of these things. Like a peach orchard, whatever type mix. Right now I'm drinking Twister peach orchard punch.
I love how we're advertising it. Tropicana, bitch.
And then you get
When the last time somebody shouted out Tropicana? Can we please show them some love? My bad, y'all. Y'all know y'all be making them juices. The grape shit. Ain't no grape never tasted like that. Yeah. But it's still good. We love you, Tropicana. Sponsor.
And then you get yourself like this size of vodka, right? Like peach vodka, New Amsterdam is good. And the whole bottle of Prosecco, whole bottle of vodka, and like a splash of that peach orchard shit.
Just a splash. We don't want to dilute the alcohol. There's too much juice in my alcohol. That sounds delicious.
Yeah, no, I'll have you lit on a good brunch day.
Shocking that the Pisces know about the best way to get drunk, right? That's what we're known for. Y'all know that, right?
I did not know that.
For drugs and alcohol.
Interesting.
Those are the Piscean vices, like gambling, drugs, and alcohol. That's our shit.
Yeah, well, I love that. Like, so Rihanna's a Pisces, and I always, now that you say that, I think back of that video she was on some European TV show, you know, those funny British dudes, and he created like a montage of pictures of Rihanna always leaving a hotel or club with a glass in her hand.
Really?
Like she always has like a glass.
Bottle. She would take a bottle.
Sometimes she'll have a bottle. Sometimes she'll have
right.
like it's like a bunch of like pictures of her walking out of hotels and stuff, but
and
like
not
glass in hand.
Not like plastic shit.
Nah, like wine glasses.
Like they're fine china and crystal and shit.
And she's sitting there like
Rihanna steal it.
Wait, that was mine. Wait, at one point she was like, I brought that to the club. I brought that with me, so I was taking it back.
She travels with a chalice at all times. This is my chalice, thank you.
I love that. So what was it like going out to eat when you were a kid?
I loved going out to eat, like with my parents. My mother had certain places that she really liked going to, and then my dad had places that he kind of exposed me and my older brother to. He and I have the same father. I loved going out to eat with them. Like, it just was fun because both my parents are fun. I don't have the best relationship with my dad, but there's no denying that he is a very, very funny, ridiculous individual. And he knows how to have a good time. He's very cultured. He's a Libra. You know, he knows about shit. So that just, it was always a good time. My mom is really silly and loving, and going out with them was just fun. Like, we would play. Yeah. Mostly just play. Like, even during dinner, you know, it's like we have our little jokes and stuff. It felt good as a kid, you know, because, you know, maybe everybody didn't even necessarily get to experience things like that.
Right.
But just like that feeling of like being young and going out somewhere and interacting with people and, you know, just eating different kinds of things and being waited on and stuff like that. I feel like it's important, and it was special. Yeah,
awesome. And so what is your favorite bochinche to talk about over a meal?
What is a bochinche?
Oh, like gossip.
Oh, definitely Zach.
That is the correct answer. That is our answer here as well. And we might be talking about a little bit about that later when we talk about Joe Scott. All right, so now we're going to move into our cheers to the ladies who, where we shout out people that are doing dope shit.
Ooh.
First of all, Skittlez and I went to the Uptown Colmado last weekend. And they were promoting the De Lo Mio Air Force Ones that are coming out, the Dominican Air Force Ones. First of all, the party was lit.
It was very fun.
I was
only there for a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say. It ended way too early. In La Marina. They had it at La Marina.
Wow.
It was my first time there, actually.
Mine too.
And I don't know why I always had this whole thing of like, nah, that's one of those spots that everybody goes to. It's too, popular. I'm never going to go there.
Right.
And actually, surprisingly, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it there.
I've never been either.
Yeah, I would go back for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the little colmado set up, like real Dominican style. Like they made it look like it was made of tin, and they had like the signs were painted onto the structure. It was just really, really dope. And I felt proud. I had a really weird moment of like, whoa. Once upon a time, I used to feel really angry and frustrated because I felt that Dominicans had zero visibility here in New York City. Like, and I always had envy towards Boricuas because I was always like, oh, like you guys had the good parade, and you guys are just like your flags are everywhere, and you guys have the rappers, like you know what I mean? Like the Boricuas, they got the rappers.
Yo, y'all got to step y'all game up, B.
And I would be and I'm from the Bronx, and like the Bronx is Boricua Central. Like, there's so many Boricuas here, and it was hard. And mind you, my grandmother was half Boricua, but raised in Dominican Republic. So I do have Boricua like heritage, but I was raised. My parents were born and raised in Dominican Republic, like very Dominican upbringing. So anyway, I say that to say the moment felt really fucking rewarding to just be in a room full of Dominican people who look like regular ass motherfuckers too, who definitely walk around the heights like nothing and are doing amazing things for our culture. The Peralta Project, Apartment 78, like just really, really dope groups that are getting shit done. So I wanted to shout them out. Another shout out for Kicks for the City. So Kicks for the City is an organization that collects shoes to give to less fortunate populations, homeless populations, or people who like live in housing projects, things like that. And we were able to host we hosted a box for them, and we hosted a rap party for them. So they literally brought all these shoes that they collected. They had them at We Work Harlem, We Work Bryant Park, and Bronx Native also had a box. And so they had all the shoes, they were cleaning them, sorting them, and it was just this really awesome group of young, energetic people of color. And it made me really, I had a moment of just like, wow, like look at us go and getting shit done. And you always grow, or for me, like growing up in the South Bronx, I was always on the receiving end of those types of things that nonprofits did, and it was always white people coming to save us. So it was just so nice to see that it was like our community giving back, because we have people who made it and they're able to do that. They're able to organize these awesome things. So I wanted to shout them out. Another shout out I wanted to give. So the National Book Awards were this past week, and there were 3 Latina women who got really, really important awards. The first one, and yes, because she's Dominican and she's from the South Bronx, she's Afro-Latina, and her book speaks to my soul. So Elizabeth Acevedo, and she's a Dominican-American poet who won the Young People's Literature Award for her book, The Poet X. And so the book follows a young Afro-Latina girl who, starts to rebel against her very religious household here in the Bronx. And it's a beautiful, it's for adolescents, and it's this beautiful book, and it's everything that I wish I had when I was that age. And it was all the ways in which I, as a writer, could have only hoped to have been expressing myself as at that age. And so I was so happy to see that she won, and then we also had Isabel Allende, who accepted a Lifetime Achievement Award. So you know her work.
Yes.
And she's written over 20 works in the past 40 years. Like, you know what I mean? She's,
I didn't even know.
Yeah,
that.
She's out here. And in her speech, she said that she was accepting the award on behalf of millions of people like herself who have come to this country in search for a new life. And we also had Sigrid Nunez. She won for her book The Friend, which is a fiction book, and she won the prestigious fiction award for that book. So killing it out here at these book awards. We need to read more. And Skittles.
Yeah.
So
all right, so now we're getting into a little bit of pop culture. Apparently Mariah Carey met Colin Kaepernick, took a picture, said that meeting him was she thinks that was an honor, that meeting him was an honor, and now her white fans are like upset.
No.
Like they're mad.
I guess they forgot she's black.
Yeah,
No one gives a good goddamn.
Yeah, I just thought that was like something funny that I saw on my timeline that was like,
That's hilarious to me.
Oh, white people mad again.
They don't stop getting mad.
Another thing that I wanted to shout out was that there's the largest U.S. Frida Kahlo exhibit in 10 years opening at the Brooklyn Museum.
Why do you get all the good exhibits?
I don't know.
Brooklyn stays getting... I've never
they're
been
popular,
to the Bronx
I guess,
Museum.
right now. I've never been there either, but...
Yeah.
You know,
I've been several times. I saw the David Bowie.
I was going to say, I've only been there for the David Bowie, which I thought was fucking phenomenal because I love David Bowie. But, this is
definitely must get out there to see this one. I also wanted to shout out our girl Cardi B. You know we can't go an episode without mentioning Cardi B. She launched her Fashion Nova line, and it sold out within hours.
Wow.
I also thought it was funny because she had a launch party in LA, which our girl Julissa was at. Julissa Calderon was there.
Yes.
And at the party, in attendance was Iggy Azalea and that and the Dr. Oz girl, the Cash Me Outside girl. And so apparently the Dr. Oz girl is like a rapper now. And Iggy Azalea was apparently talking shit about her on Instagram. And so the Dr. Oz girl goes and throws water at Iggy Azalea. And so I wanted to shout this out because I thought Iggy,
so bad.
I thought Iggy, you know, for all of Iggy's career, I have like disliked her, but I thought Iggy handled it very well. She ended up leaving and being like, she's a child, like what I look like. Like she handled it exactly the way she should have handled it. But also, this girl is 15. Why is she at a club?
Right.
Like, why are you there, period?
Grown-ass people.
Yeah. And, like, I watched a video of her reaction, and she was like, I'm not that bitch. And I immediately got that, like, teacher feeling of, like, oh, my God, this is a 15-year-old that I wish I could smack, but I can't smack because I don't want to lose my job. But, like, they think they know everything, but they don't know everything.
Somebody needs to tell this young lady... You know, and I don't know. Maybe this isn't right for me to say because I don't know her life experience. I don't know where she was raised. But somebody needs to break it to this young woman that, like, honey, you are not black.
Yeah,
you're not a person of color. You ain't hood. Stop. Just be you. Be a young lady. You know, if you want to rap.
Yeah.
You know, but stop trying to co-opt.
Yeah. And people just often try to say, like, oh, you know, like, being poor or poverty in America does not, like, you know, coincide with, like, hip-hop culture. And, like, yes, you can be white and poor, but, like, if you are co-opting that very black experience, and hip-hop is the way that the black experience gets to express things like their poverty, then, like, yes, you're choosing to include yourself in something that is cultural, whether you like it or not.
And you're appropriating it. And also, you know, like, this is going to be a difficult thought for me to articulate because I'm really high right now. But, like, if that's... See, I have a big fucking problem with white people who... well, in general. But I have a big problem with white people... or maybe some, like, you know, like non-black...
white passing, like, Latinos.
Right.
Stuff, yeah.
I have a huge problem with people thinking that, like, it's okay... One, for you to appropriate, for you to co-opt, but, like, this is how you view blackness.
Yes,
this is the only way that you view blackness. So when you decide to become a character, like, you're a caricature of what you think blackness is, you know, and that's not to say that there aren't, like, yeah, I have my ratchet ways. I have all kinds of ways because I'm a multidimensional human being. So a lot of times these people, they're not like, when they come up in these areas or, you know, they want to do certain things, that's the first thing they go to is the stereotypes, you know, the really typical shit, you know? And it's like, even most of us who did come up in the hood, like, that's not all there is to us. You know, so it's just like, I find that shit so fucking offensive. I find it so offensive and just so corny. And I'm just like, how can you guys be so lacking in awareness and integrity that this is where you go every single fucking time? But you're not hood, sweetheart. You're not hood and you're not black.
Yeah, and watching videos of you is like nails on a chalkboard, honestly. I get, like, the teacher comes out. It's like...
Yeah.
Right.
Because it seems like rebellion without a cause. It feels like she has this, like, rebellious nature that is just for no reason.
They're like, yeah, why? Like, you was on Dr. Oz, you would have gotten your little chunk. Like, I get, like, making a 15 minutes, like, stretch. I guess it's also my issue with the music industry of like pushing these like out of nowhere artists.
Right.
Like you're a
don't have
viral
any
star.
talent.
You're a viral star who had never thought of doing music in your life. And then you all of a sudden have like a mixtape and an album out. And like for people like me who have like studied music, you
Right.
know, like have dedicated our lives to it, you know, we're sitting here like, this bitch, you know?
Right.
It's
not fair.
crazy.
It's not right. It's not right at all. So also we had I also read this article about the lady.
Yes. Yo, this lady was crazy. Talk about it.
Yeah, so no, basically this woman is at the altar, and instead of reading her vows, she read the text messages in which she caught her fiance cheating.
Yeah.
And it was basically like, you know, today there will not be a wedding. Instead, this will be like a celebration of truth and honesty.
Yup.
Shit.
And just called the nigga out, and he ran off. His best man ran off after him.
Yup. And they like still have the reception and everything. Like way to like really just like be like, I still paid for this shit.
Because
That's an open bar.
I was literally about to say, you know, my miserable ass is about to just be getting drunk and lit for however long until my friends snap me out of it. Right? So I might as well start with the shit I paid for that I thought I was going to be drinking because I was going to be marrying this motherfucker. Like,
I would love to know her zodiac sign.
yeah, right?
Oh,
Bitch, what are you? Holla at us. Get in touch with us, please.
I just, you know, it really, for me, spoke to that. Like, yes, it seemed very movie and, like, dramatic, but it really, to me, speaks to what I feel is a lack of being able to silence women when they are going to speak out and be like, fuck you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, fuck you. You think I'm crazy for doing... No, fuck you for cheating on me and comparing me to, you know, to, like, telling the girl, oh, like, my wife doesn't do it like you and shit like that. How dare you have the selfishness, you know what I mean?
That's always the narrative, too. And it's bullshit. It's total bullshit.
They're whack. They're whack. And these side bitches are probably the one bringing the spice into that sex. He's probably not shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And, like...
And then they'll turn around and do the same thing to the side chick.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Because he'll be like, whoa, what'd you think? You were the side to begin with, so.
Yes. Now, speaking about women taking
Shout out
on
to
empowering
side
roles.
Somebody got to shout them out.
Yes.
Yes.
We've all been one at one point. Shit, I know I was.
Unfortunately.
Reluctantly, but also not reluctantly all the time.
You know, you just got to know what you're getting yourself into and then call it for what it is, honestly.
Right.
Speaking about women who are taking on powerful roles, I just wanted to shout out this song called Love a Girl Right by Little Mix. It's this British girl group who has not like gotten great fame here in the US, but you know, they could all sing their asses off. They took Cisco's Thong Song and rewrote, like, they didn't rewrite it, they sampled it, but just like created this completely new product that is an empowering song for women, talking to a man about how he needs to treat a woman right. And I wanted to shout it out because not only, I just think it's so clever musically, lyrically. There's just key things that they did melodically and lyrically that are just like so fucking like cool.
What's
it's called Love a Girl Right by Little Mix. And I just thought that it's a form of sampling that we don't see often. And it is truly transformative and it deserves a shout out. So go listen to it if you want a good girl anthem. It's poppin'.
So Jim Acosta, CNN chief White House correspondent, got his press pass back. Long story short, I don't even want to spend too much time. I'm just glad that he got it back. I knew he was going to get it back. I knew that this whole shit was a little stunt, you know, on the Trump administration's part to just show a flex of power.
Right.
But it is to be noted that that is a very, very specific flex of power. And though it may not seem like it's a big deal that he took away a press person's pass.
They want to silence us.
Yes. Yes. And the way that Sarah fucking Huckabee was able to use the sped up version of the video where the girl is yanking the mic away from Jim Acosta, which made it look like he bumped her arm. And even in the sped up version, it still does not look like this man is in any way touching or attacking this woman. But they tried to make it ever so slightly more aggressive looking by speeding it up. And they were able to use a manipulated image. Like, that is what the White House of, the United States of America said, hey, this is what happened. How can they so egregiously lie in front of people? Like it is so egregious. It's almost like dealing with a child that, you're like, hey, did you just,
did you take mommy's makeup?
Right. And, no.
Meanwhile, they got makeup all over
their face.
Oh, you didn't? Nah.
And it's just like, how are we... Like, how have we not revolted? How are we not in a full-out war right now? Like, and not that I want that. I do not want that. And I think that might be the only thing we're not in that place is because no one actually wants a bloodbath over... Because it shouldn't have to be that. But
I think that might be... I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like,
I ain't ready. I ain't ready for it. If that's what's coming, I ain't ready for it.
Listen, a while back, I sent out this tweet. And I was like, ew. I was like, black people, y'all ready? What y'all doing? How y'all getting in shape for the race war? What we doing? We hitting our push-ups? We weightlifting? What's up? We focusing on strength, cardio.
I can't run 2 blocks without losing my breath.
I don't know how. Listen, I just don't know how it's not shaping up to be that, to be a race war. And I don't know if it's going to be as simple as white and black.
Right.
But like these power structures have to end, and they can't end by the way that our justice system is set up, because our justice system is set up to exclude us. So that has to be overthrown.
Yes. 100%. No, 100%.
And no, you can't overthrow without... I don't think you can overthrow without violence.
Yeah.
And their attempts at trying to make us feel like, oh, this is not how we handle things, that's just trying to silence. That's just trying to make us docile. It's not rooted in truth, because that's how they've taken over things. Yeah. Is by brute force. Yeah. So that's really the only way to accomplish something.
Yeah. Oh, girl, don't I know it, but aren't I terrified for that shit?
I'm terrified, too.
Yeah, man. All right, and Jaden Smith says that Tyler, the Creator, is his boyfriend, which is totally cool.
I really think that it's not true, though. I really think that it's just 2 straight boys being like, yo, that's my boyfriend.
And I can't tell what it is, and I was going to say, and I think that is where I'm sort of like... If it's true, and if you 2 dudes, feel comfortable coming out now, and it feels weird because I feel like they project themselves in such a, everything is everything, and it's not based off of anything.
I can be myself.
Yeah, which is great, but I can't tell at what point is the line mocking or sort of hopping onto a trend as opposed to honestly having an experience that is an honest I'm actually have feelings for this very specific man. It doesn't mean that that they might just love each other and that might be real, but then Tyler's like, you crazy nigga, and it's what does that mean? But then Tyler also maybe came out in his last album. There's all this obscurity. And so to me, it's if what they're trying to say is that we're allowed to be who we are and fuck opinions about it, then can you just be clear?
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? And I get that no one should be forced to, but you're choosing to make it public because you're choosing to make it public. And thus, why are you choosing to make it public in a way that's so obscure? So what is the goal behind the obscurity? Because if you want to stand here and say, hey, young men who identify with us, you can come forward and be who you are, then make that statement. That's dope. Why are you dancing the line of the statement? Just make the fucking statement.
Yeah.
So, it's just...
And if it's not that, then
that's not cute.
Don't do that.
And that's, and this is not a... people's, gender identity and who they choose to love is not a game, because people literally get killed for that shit. So, you can't use that to be cool. So, I put it as a, cheers, because if it's true, great.
Yeah,
if it's not,
but if it's not,
don't do that shit.
Right,
I don't like it. All right, and now we're gonna move into our Tuta Loca Es, where we call motherfuckers out for doing the most. Well, this, just wanted to say rest in peace to Kim Porter and to Stan Lee, who passed away this week. Kim Porter's death is concerning because she had pneumonia for a while, and I was reading an article today actually that was saying, they're questioning how attentive the doctors were. And it's another case of black women not getting medical treatment in a way that's equal to others. And I would hate for that to be the case. I want so badly for that to just be somebody hyping that fact up. And not that this woman just was not handled with the proper care.
Well, somebody made a point online to say that, we pay attention to these things when it happens to celebrity women, but this is something that happens to women of color all the time, specifically Black women. Like this is what happens. Yeah. So it shouldn't be that just because something happens to a celebrity. And I'm not trying to take anything away from these women. I'm not trying to shade Kim or anybody else. But what's being said is that it it's already an issue. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And it's an issue that reaches their circle of influence and doesn't just live with us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's really scary for a lot of people, is because if you're already kind of like financially or socially at the bottom, well then shit, it's like, when do you, like, what we're being told, oh well, you need more status in this world, you need more money, you need more this. Okay, well now I have all those things and I still it's like, well shit, that's very sobering for a lot of people.
And this is a different note, but this snow that fell this week in New York, and that it took me 2 hours to get home not prepared. On the train, just like literally was just sitting for 2 hours, and I was like, why? I'm literally a 40-minute ride, and that's with train traffic. It takes me 40 minutes to get where I was going. So it's so interesting to me because, like, sometimes they overhype storms, and they've done that so much that New Yorkers are jaded, because lie, mad people were caught off guard. Like, even me, like, when I had come downstairs again, maybe around 5 p.m., an hour before leaving, I was like, damn, this shit stuck to the flow.
Right. Like,
it's
real out here.
This is real snow.
Yeah, it's real snow.
And no plows, no nothing.
Word.
Tons of, like, people were stuck. I have a friend who got out of work at 2:30. All that ice and that
slush, I was so concerned for just, like, like, young people, elderly people. It's just like, damn.
There were children stuck on school buses.
Right.
For hours and hours, from like 3 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Wow.
Like, with no bathroom breaks, no food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
What the fuck, New York City? Like, you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Just didn't make sense to me. And I was just like, wow, so we're really not prepared. Like, okay, if we underestimate a storm, so we really don't have an accurate enough backup plan that we could have avoided that shit. Like, it just... I don't know. I don't know if it was the meteorologist. I don't know if it was the city making the wrong call. But somebody fucked up.
Somebody fucked up.
Someone fucked up, yo.
Real bad.
Yeah.
Yo, y'all got to plan out y'all snowstorms next time.
Word. Motherfuckers couldn't even make it to the Netflix and chill appointments because it was taking forever. Like, nobody. It was a useless. It was a useless fucking snow.
And then we all had to go to work the next day anyway. Like, it was messed up.
Yeah.
Well, talking about people who are crazy, it seems that Jennifer Lopez is trying to bring back the 2000s trend of the whale tail, where you wear your thong showing out of your pants.
Azealia wore an outfit recently that had that.
Why?
And one of her, actually this week in Brazil, she performed in Brazil. She had like a jean pant thing that was like the thong pants thing. Yeah.
Why?
It's a thing.
Of all the trends to bring back.
Right?
There's so many good ones.
There's so many good ones. And then, like, the early 2000s was a specific time.
Very specific time.
And there are very bad things that should not come back from the early 2000s. That is one of them.
It's interesting to me because where like now I understand how like adults
long
felt.
T-shirts shouldn't come back. Those
with
stupid
the
ass fucking nightgown T-shirts.
Oh my god!
Abolish them shits.
I used to have them in all those colors. I used to have them in like red, white, black.
Yeah. So it's interesting to me because there's a lot of fashion that does come back often, and we don't like question it. And I wonder if we at some point will have to accept that girls are just gonna have their thongs out, and
probably.
like that these things are gonna just come back.
I mean, look at those stupid ass cutoff. I'm sorry, I am not a proponent of these fucking cutoff shorts where you can see like the under cheek of the butt. I hate those shits so much. Even if a woman has a nice ass, it looks stupid in those fucking shorts. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it. I don't care what your ass looks like, and it's always these droopy fucking watery ass white girls walking around, and I'm just like, why do I need to see this?
Yeah. No, I understand.
Oops, I'm body shaming. Sorry. That's not generally what I do.
Yeah.
But I hate it. I hate that fucking trend. I absolutely hate it. Like, listen, show your body, but please not in that way. Like, show ass. But coming out the bottom of some fucking cutout, it looks fucking stupid, and I hate it. I hate it. And I don't think that trend is going anywhere for a long time.
Oh, 100%. It's not.
It's not going anywhere.
All right. And now on a bit of a more serious note. So we all know that these past couple weeks, we've been talking about a black man who got shot for doing his job as a security guard. And yes, he has a name. So Jamel Robertson. But it's almost like, for me, I always like to simplify it to black person killed for doing blank, right? And it's, for doing his job, like, actually not even just doing it, going above and beyond. Yeah, you know what I mean? And going above and beyond, and then being black in the moment where, help was supposed to come. He was black, and so he was the target.
Right. I think it's just for being black. I think a lot of people... I definitely won't say all, but I think there are a lot of really evil, vile, sinister people in this world, and in our country in particular, who they've found a loophole, and they've always had the loophole. They want to be able to kill black people at will, and they figured out ways to do it. And I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And when people ask, like, oh, but why don't the police officers get more sensitivity training? They're not insensitive. They want to kill you.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
And they find every excuse to be able to do that. They're not, they're not afraid of you in those moments. They're afraid of black people in general.
Right.
And that's really all they need. Mm-hmm. All they need is their hatred and their insecurity. Their deeply seated, just like self-hatred. That's all they need.
Yeah.
And they have weaponized black skin. And so, you have these situations where these things happen and people are always like, why? Fucking why.
Yeah.
Because they want to. Because they want to do it.
Yeah. 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 And
that's the only reason.
And it goes into, and this is our next thing, voter suppression, right? So like either they're physically killing us or they're killing our ability to do things to, take power back and take control over our lives. What happened in Georgia, what happened in Florida is terrible. So at this point now, Stacey Abrams and Andrew Gillum both have had to concede again. And we know, like, it's just blatant voter suppression. I'm sorry, there was an entire polling site that couldn't get up and running and people were waiting for almost 2 hours because they didn't have power strips and they were in an entire school. You mean to tell me there was not one power strip in that whole school that they couldn't go into a classroom and pull a power strip?
Right.
That is a lie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, going back to dealing with children, it is like they have the fucking makeup all over their face, but they refuse to say that they were playing with mommy's makeup.
Right.
And it's egregious and it's insulting. They insult my intelligence as a human being in this earth, that I can watch a news report and have to sit and accept that is the truth of what happened. That is not true.
Right.
And who gets held accountable to the lie? It's almost, it feels like there's no one to hold accountable, and it's disgusting. And Stacey Abrams in her speech, she did say she was conceding, but not like but she is not saying that this was won without voter suppression. Like she's very clearly stated that I am losing, and it's not even about me winning or losing. It's about the community and the community's right to have had those votes counted, whether or not I won or not. But the votes were not counted.
Right.
And the voting couldn't, literally was stopped before it could happen for some. And that is a fucking problem.
Right.
And we are really gearing up for a race war.
Yeah. How can we not?
It's just what it is.
They don't play fair. We keep trying to play by their rules and they keep changing them. Like I was reading yesterday, I just happened to read it. I was reading Willie Lynch. His essay or his speech rather that he gave about how to I don't remember the exact title of the piece, but it was basically like how to break a slave, how to keep slaves, how to sustain slavery, and the methods that they have to use. I think what we're seeing now is that's breaking apart. It's and they're trying to hold to power in any ways that they can, but it's like we still have the mentality, but we don't have the mentality.
Right.
The problem, I think, that and even for myself, there's still so much fear. Yes. There's fear. There's just wanting to live your life. There's not wanting to die on the cross of some fucking cause, because it's just like, I don't want to fucking die. I'm a stand-up comedian. Like, I want to be a comedian. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what I want to do. I don't want to die for some fucking cause.
Yeah. And
I think a lot of us feel that way, and there's nothing wrong with it. But that's the thing. It's like we're afraid to take certain actions.
Yeah.
Like when you think about even the Black Panther Party, they were not afraid.
Yeah. Yeah, they literally had the FBI.
That's why
have to dismantle
they
them.
had to dismantle it.
Right.
They had to call it a terrorist organization and all this other shit, because they were. It's like you had these people who are like they've broken free from the matrix, I guess, and it's just like, nah, we're gonna fight and we might die, but this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're definitely afraid of that happening again. We all don't want it to come to that.
Yeah.
We don't want it to come to that, but that might very well be what it is coming to.
Yeah. And then in other news, Victoria's Secret CEO Jan Singer, had to step down after this huge PR crisis over the transphobic remarks, made by another executive. And I mean, duh. I've never identified with Victoria's Secret. Like, when people I actually would feel insulted sometimes, and like, I mean this with all the love in the world, but when people would gift me Victoria's Secret sprays and stuff, because I'm like, oh great, because there's nothing in that space for me. So literally the only thing that you can do to engage me with this brand that you want me to feel like I'm a part of something sexy is for me to smell nice and not actually wear the thong or the like bra thing. 'Cause
Right.
I can't look sexy in their stuff. You know what I mean? Always felt like the ultimate message. And so to me, it doesn't surprise me that the way in which they're trying to define beauty is still very much stuck in that mentality. And it's not inclusive. I mean, even when on a racial level, it's not very much inclusive.
No.
I didn't foresee them being
Oh, we have
inclusive.
Brazilians. Yeah, you
Right.
got the whitest fucking Brazilians.
Exactly. So, I don't know, Skittles, if you had read that article.
I did.
Yeah.
I actually saw comments like from Gigi Gorgeous, who's like a huge trans YouTuber, talking about how Gigi Gorgeous is like literally the quintessential like tall, blonde, blue-eyed, white, like, but she's trans. And so she was saying how like she couldn't wait to put Victoria's Secret on when she began her transition, but now she's like, nah, I'm throwing all my shit out because you don't actually support my community.
Right.
And
I guess you better buy some Savage X
yeah,
Fenty.
but I would not. But I really would not be surprised if like from this stepping down, and then they get like their new CEO, and then like Gigi Gorgeous is the person who they choose, the trans person that they put on the runway, because
Right.
she's like the tall, skinny blonde one, you know.
Yeah. And which is still promoting the same stereotypes, but it's just now inclusive of everybody who identifies as a woman being on the runway.
Right.
Which is great, which will be a wonderful, beautiful moment, but will still not necessarily mean shit for women of color.
Right. Same as all the wins that Caitlyn Jenner has seen.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, how is this not just like white male privilege? How is
Yeah.
this not
Yeah.
just that? And I know it
literally
isn't just that.
no, but the thing about it is that like as sad as it is, as a gay man who's part of the LGBT community and all that stuff, when Caitlyn Jenner came out as Caitlyn Jenner, it
Right.
seemed because of the family that she's coming from, it seemed like a pub like literally we have run out of all our fucking daughters to put out sex tapes. Let's have you should
Right.
come out as trans. Like, this is the next PR thing that we're gonna do. And then we're gonna take Kanye and turn him crazy. And like that's the next PR. Like everything Kardashian seems like a PR ploy for me.
Right.
Like,
yeah, agreed. All right, so now let's move into our main topic, navigating male dominant spaces. So, Suraiyah, I had mentioned, I'm not a comic myself. I do know some comics, and I just always feel like when I'm in settings and if I'm like standing next to someone who's about to perform and just I'm observing their prep, there's always, I feel like so many men that seem to be like taking charge or dictating how the space works, and not very many women. And oftentimes if there is a woman included, it's a woman who doesn't seem to be intimidating to them, or someone who they don't necessarily find attractive, or someone who they identify as lesbian. And so like, you know what I mean? Like safe women are good,
Right.
but like strong-headed like females, especially when you have these people who are putting together spots who are like white dudes, you know,
Right.
in these like maybe like I don't want to say fancier or not fancier, but certain comedy clubs where it's like, oh well, that's their space, they dominate it, and depending on the kind of woman you are, that's how it'll run. So that's just
Right.
one male dominant space. But like for me, for instance, like in working for a company like we work in sales, there's all these like mavericks and these dudes who like fucking get off on selling shit, you know what I mean? And the way that they move and breathe and speak is very different than the way I do it, because I sell my spaces as my authentic self. My Bronx Dominican ass self is who's going to sell those numbers, you know. And I just think it's interesting navigating, and sometimes I find it hard, and sometimes, honestly, it makes me feel a little self-conscious, because I'm like, wow, I'm not even trying to be that aggressive, or I'm not trying to come off as a certain way, but because of how it's received, it makes me feel like, should I be smaller? Should I quiet down? And it's a battle, sort of fighting that dynamic and saying, no, actually, you get to be who you are, and they're the ones who need to be made to feel uncomfortable, and they need to deal with that. You don't actually have to deal with that. So I'm interested in hearing from you, like, you know, what from the beginning, like, what was it like growing up and being a girl in the context in which you grew up in?
It's interesting because I grew up, first of all, I was raised, my family was Muslim. So I feel like I got a lot of like just kind of unique things kind of happening. And all of it definitely goes into my comedy. Like, you know, I'm Black. My mother is Black. You know, my mother's side of the family, they're Black from the South. Like, my mom was born in New York, but my grandparents are from the South. My father is Dominican and Puerto Rican. Like, his mother is Dominican, his dad is Puerto Rican. You know, my mom was, when my grandparents came down from the South, they joined the Nation of Islam. My mom was born Muslim. I was born Muslim. My dad became Muslim. So all those things play into my comedy, but they also play into, there's a lot of confidence that I have. And I think it comes from being raised, maybe not so much intentionally from my mom, but maybe it was a little bit intentional. To have been like a black Muslim in like the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s is a very like political and militant thing. You know, like, it's a little bit different. We have it, like, Black Muslims have a different identity than maybe, you know, Arab Muslims do, or even African Muslims do. And so that's a very like specific thing. Growing up with that has given me a lot of confidence. And even though I will say there are some things, like, I have a lot of pride, even though I don't necessarily exclusively identify as being Muslim, because I don't feel religious at all anymore. You know, like, I'm still very spiritual, but I don't, like, if someone's like, are you Muslim? I'm like, sometimes I say yes, sometimes I say no, you know, because in practice, absolutely not. But there are, like, I strongly identify with my roots, and I have a lot of pride in my roots. Now, I don't agree with everything that I've learned as a Muslim and as a young Muslim woman. There are certain things that I don't care for. Like, I don't care for respectability politics in any way, you know, or certain roles that people have to play. You know, there are roles that I maybe don't mind playing because that's me, but I don't feel like somebody who doesn't want to play into those roles just because they're a woman, like, they're wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's a huge problem that I have with just religion across the board, is the way, like, men are supposed to conduct themselves and the way women are supposed to conduct themselves. Yeah. That being said, when it comes to the comedy, like, I think this is going to sound arrogant, and I'm okay with it at this point, because like, at some point you just kind of have to own things. You have to be okay with being okay with shit. You know, I've spent a lot of time trying to, like, make myself a little bit smaller, a little bit quieter, to not express myself with as much, you know, confidence or whatever. But I don't want to do that anymore. I am funny. I know that about myself. I feel very secure about it. Whether or not I have a good set on any given night it doesn't affect me, like, how I feel about myself in a general sense, like, of, am I funny or am I not funny? It's part of
the process.
Right.
Yeah.
So that being the case, you know, I get this question a lot, like, how does it feel being, you know, a woman of color, or being a woman in general in such a male-dominated industry, and such a this and such a that? I'm not going to say that there aren't things that don't affect me but I don't feel like it's a detriment to me. I feel so fucking unique. I feel so unique because I know my voice, my background, the things that I bring to comedy, the things that I bring to my comedy at least, is so unique. You know, like, who you know like me?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people out there, but right now I feel like I'm representing us.
Yeah.
You know, I'm representing Black and Latino people who grew up Muslim.
Right. Very specific thing.
who don't speak Spanish, who more strongly identify with being Black than they do Latino because of certain things they went through with their dad and their dad's side of the family. Like, I'm representing those people right now. So with that being the case, it's kind of like there's a certain strength that I feel from that, a certain confidence. And, you know, I tend to take responsibility. If I don't do well on any given night, I try to take responsibility for it. Just personal, just like, all right, what did I do? What didn't I do? Did I prepare? Blah, blah, blah. Because I feel like that takes power and puts it back into myself as opposed to being like, well, I'm a woman. You know, I know a lot of you know, lady comics who maybe feel like, oh, you know, men are intimidated by funny women. No, I've never really encountered that as it pertains to my people. I think white women feel like white men don't find them funny because white men don't really validate a lot of people.
Right.
So they're always invalidating people's experiences.
Yep.
You know, and I'm speaking in a general sense, obviously not about like everybody. But for the most part, like, the people of color that I know that I've grown up with, like, we just like funny people.
Yeah.
So it ain't like you can't be funny because you're a woman. You might not be funny just because you're not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I never had nobody make me feel like, oh, if anything, like, I'm almost certain I'm the funniest woman that any dude I've ever been with, fucked with, anything, has ever dealt with and will ever deal with.
Yeah.
I can say that with absolute confidence. Like, that's how I feel. Like, it might not be true to be like, nah, I had one bitch who was a lot funnier than you. I mean, I like to beat her, but that's just how I feel. And I've never felt like somebody's been like, you know what? You know, I like Suraiyah. She attractive, but she just too fucking funny, yo. That shit threatens me. Like, I've never felt that way. And I don't feel that way in a general sense when it comes to the Black men in this industry. Are the same opportunities available all the time? Absolutely not. No. But I don't really step into spaces and feel like, oh, I'm a woman here, you know, as demure or as soft or as shy or feminine as I might be when I step down off that stage. It's still, when I step onto it, when I step in these places, I'm aware of needing to carry myself with a certain level of just like dignity and pride and strength. Yeah. Because that's what I come from. And I think that's what a lot of our people come from. And I just feel like we're better able to be like, yo, I'm funny, so I'm doing this. And we don't have to be like, oh, well, I'm a woman in this industry and da-da-da. It's like, you know, being a woman doesn't even always just factor into it because women of color have to factor in their you know, intersectionalism, you know? Mm-hmm. So if anything, I feel more where it pertains to matters of like race versus just gender.
Just gender.
Gender.
Yeah, which is one of the questions that I had too. It's like, you know, what are some of the challenges that you face, not even just as a woman, but how does race play a role into some of your specific experiences that you have?
Race plays, it can play a large role. For one thing, a lot of the comedy that I do, you know, is based on my personal experiences and the things that I think and feel and believe. And I'm going to be honest, like, you know, white people, I'm not feeling y'all. Yeah. I'm not. Like, individually, there's some people I fuck with. You know, there's like 10, 13 white people that's cool on the planet. But collectively, I feel like y'all just don't fucking get it. Yeah. Like, I'd be like, yo, throw the whole white people away. Just throw them away. Yeah. And let's do y'all over because there's a lot that's wrong there. That doesn't mean that there's not stuff that's wrong with my own, but I'm just like, man, I cannot fuck with y'all. Yeah. You know? And that plays into my comedy heavily. But you know what? I don't really find that people, like, they know. They know. Because even they not fucking with each other. They be like, damn, we are a treacherous, awful ass. Just like, fuck, can we stop being this terrible?
And they even do that thing where it's like, but
right.
you know, like,
you know how white people are.
Exactly.
Yes, and you included.
Yes, we do, and you as well. Exactly, because
you do that shit too.
Exactly,
sometimes.
and you're passing off your disdain as just kind of like this casual, like, I know it's so terrible. It's like, fucking do something about it.
The ones that we like to hang around are the ones that we can just be like, yo, you're being mad white right now.
Right.
Like,
listen, and I like my white people white too. I like my white people white. Like, yo, be white, be you. Don't try to be like me. I don't like that shit. Be white, okay? If you're gonna be white, be the whitest white you could white. The whitest white that ever whited. Be that person.
Word.
You know, because there's sincerity in somebody just being themselves. And, you know, we all are ignorant to certain things. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. You can have your teachable moments. But yeah, that plays into a lot of what I do. There's certain spaces that I see that seem a lot more available to white comedians than they do to others. And I'm just kind of like, y'all motherfuckers act like we not the funniest people on this earth. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
We just funny off the back. Like,
Yeah.
Just on some like casual shit.
Yeah. Without trying.
Yeah. So I'm
like
just like,
breathing.
so you're not booking us on your fucking corny ass hipster shows? All right, cool. I hope your audience don't enjoy laughing.
Right. No, 100%. And I think it's so interesting with comedy because
I'm throwing mad shade right now.
Hey, it is what
Sorry,
it is,
whites.
though,
Please book
because-
me on your shows. I love you.
But really, it's true. Like, a lot of the comic greats that people can point to, like, yes, white people have them too, but, like, come on, bro. Like, you're going to tell me most of these comic greats aren't, like, ours? You know, even the ones who have come to turn into something else. But, like, Eddie Murphy mattered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Richard Pryor, are you fucking kidding me? Even, you know, R.I.P. to Bill Cosby, but, like, even Bill Cosby,
R.I.P.
you know what I mean? In the sense of, like,
Right.
you know, he got canceled and very rightfully so. But,
Right.
like, he did, in his fuckery, also do things as a comic that were important, especially with the Cosby Show and getting on there and Dave Chappelle's and the Chris Rocks and a lot of the new people and the Moniques, you know what I mean, and all these other people and the Steve Harveys, the Cedrics, you know.
But even the fact that
Bernies.
like there's like one, like you.
I'm naming all these dudes.
the kings
Wanda
of comedy,
Sykes.
and then Monique is
But
the
there's
one.
so many. Like there's
Maya
so many.
Rudolph. I'm trying to think now.
Gina Yashere. Listen, fucking Gina Yashere, if you ever listen to this podcast, I love you so much. I met her. She's amazing. When I first saw her comedy, which, you know, shame on me, was not very long ago, I was just like, okay, I have never ever so strongly identified with another female comedian as I have, like another, and even just another black female comedian as I do with Gina Yashere. I really, really like her work. I love her voice, and I just feel like, and I hope this doesn't sound wrong, but it's just like, you know, you see yourself in somebody, just like, oh, yeah, like I could relate to that.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, the way she carries herself on stage, everything. So I hope she don't see me someday and be like, this bitch is biting my whole shit. Yeah. But I really, really admire her. I really like her work. But the thing is that, like, y'all don't know this because it's not put out there, but there's so many funny, like, black Latino female comics out there.
Sure.
There are so, and I mean, like, killing it. Yeah. Not like just kind of like marginally funny where it's like, you know, I'm passable. I can get a little laugh here. I mean, like, yo. Like killers. Yeah, and you don't know about them.
Yeah. Yep.
That shit's annoying.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we keep, like, no shade to the greats, to the old heads, you know, the people who came before us, but it's just like, okay, but we're in a different time now. There are other people.
Right.
There's other people. Why we could only keep pointing to these same there's so much evolution that's happened.
Yeah.
There's a whole new wave. So it's just like, I feel like those things are starting to be highlighted a little bit more now. You have certain shows on Netflix like the stand-ups. There's another one, I think, I don't remember what the name of it is, but they're highlighting a lot more people who, like, I see out and about all the time, and I'm like, yes, okay, this person is getting on.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Mm-hmm. You know, even with, like, what's her name? Issa Rae.
Yeah.
She came along and fucking, I'm just like, you would have never thought that, like, before Issa Rae, it's like you almost would have never even thought that, like, a awkward, just kind of like maybe introverted but extroverted, confident but not. You would have never thought that kind of a black woman exists, because that's not what they want to see. Yep. That's not what people want to see. You would have thought we was all just one way, just one way, and it's like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah. It's really that level of enthusiasm is what's needed. And you're right. Like, I don't know a lot of comics that I need to know, you know, and part of it is like, yes, I'm not going out there and looking for them, but I never went out and looked for the people who I can name. You know what I mean? Like, I never had to do that level of work. And even in our spaces that we exist in, like for Skittles, like, you know, there's a lot of YouTubers out here who are doing really dumb, whack shit. And like Skittles is like, has his presence, you know what I mean? And is YouTube famous, but there's a whole other platform of visibility that Skittles deserves to be on, because that's what he's worked his ass off to be. And if somebody does a cheap version of that and they're more marketable, then like, where's Skittles fucking acclimates for all the work that he does? And me as a writer, like as a playwright, like if there's somebody who writes something one day that is very similar to my work and is representing Latinos, and they're not really from my experience, I'm gonna feel the biggest way. And not just because like, oh, you know, I wanted that spot, but because I know that there are people who have power and influence who have seen me. You have seen me, but you will not support me or give me the platform.
And there's a story, there's a specific story that you have to tell. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I get that. And then for me, and that's when I think about even in theater, like theater, as much as it is feeling and whatever, is a male dominant space. It is not a female dominant space. There are a lot of women doing incredible shit in theater, and it is still male dominant. And even there, and like this is a whole topic for another, you know, podcast, but like male, and even though gender identity, you know, in the theater community, like it's interesting, right? Because there's always that joke of like, oh, all the men are gay or secretly gay, and some, which is not necessarily true. But even being a minority in that way and having, yes, gay men spaces, but when they're white gay males, their whiteness supersedes their ability to understand being a group that's marginalized. And so it frustrates me, because then I'm like, fuck, and now not only am I navigating this male dominant space, now you have a fucking ringer here, and like you're also gay, and so now I don't want to seem like I'm minimalizing what I know your community goes through, but you are just like completely like obliterating mine. You don't give a fuck what you do, who does, and how it affects black people. You just care about how much your board is gonna like the show and keep donating, and you can keep putting on these fucking productions, and you'll fucking jerk off to Lin-Manuel to the you know, his final fucking note before putting on the 10, 20 other Lin-Manuels that are running around, sometimes making pieces that, yes, are better than Hamilton. I said it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I never saw Hamilton.
And I still haven't seen it either, but I've heard a lot of the songs, and people are always playing
I don't understand it.
It's good. But
it's good. It's, you know, and it is good, and so was the Heights. But even the Heights,
so that's always my controversial opinion amongst my music friends, is that I feel like Hamilton is a sometimes whitewashed version of In the Heights. Like In the Heights was like, he took our culture and put it on stage, but then it popped off and it was successful. But I feel like he took In the Heights and then just put like white history in it, and then was like, oh shit, we're gonna put people of color as white people, and that's what caught them. That's what made white people be like, this is cool, but no, but bitch, he did it a whole nother musical ago, like you know, like, and it wasn't about y'all. But because it's about you guys now, you like it.
I'm so tired of that.
That was my feelings about Hamilton.
Right. I get that. No, I totally get that. And it's a double-edged sword, because you have these situations where it's like, oh, why can't we play a Spider-Man? Or why can't we do a so-and-so? These are fictional characters. How come da-da-da-da? But then on the other side of that, I'm just like, why the fuck why we got to keep doing? We have our own shit. We have our own shit. We even have our own fucking mythologies. Yes, we do. We have our own magic and mysticism and things like that a lot of people are not fucking aware of, that are, I mean, the stories are rooted in our realities. You know what I mean? In our indigenous traditions and shit like that. How come we don't have, like, honestly, we don't have a fucking saga about the Orishas yet?
Right.
Y'all motherfuckers is creating Lord of the Rings, which, by the way, I love. I fucking love J.R. Tolkien. I love that series. But we don't have one.
Right.
Yeah. We can't have one. Oh, because black people, we only operate in reality all the fucking time?
Yeah.
So I'm tired of this whole thing where it's like, oh, we have to, like, in order to get on, now we have to take something that's inherently kind of white, and now it's like, oh, we're going to do this too. You know, like, it's nice that there's going to be a black Spider-Man. Do we need it? No. Why can't we have our own fucking superheroes? Like, let's stop remaking shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Let's stop remaking white shit and being like, include us too. I'm tired of inclusivity shit.
Yeah.
I don't need to belong.
Yeah.
I don't need to belong and fit into whiteness.
Yeah.
I want my own shit.
Yeah.
I want our own fucking shit. And you can take part of it.
Yeah.
You know, you can take part of it and that's fine. But I'm tired of this whole thing where it's like, we just gotta remake white shit.
Yeah.
Y'all shit ain't that fucking great.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all.
100%. I say it all the time.
Someone help me heal my heart. I'm sorry, white people.
Yo, it's real. It's honest to God. It's what the vibe is right now. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thanks for allowing me to do that.
Of course, we all need it. So now we're gonna go into our Dame Luz section, where you are going to give us a little bit of light and insight on something. So this week, Jill Scott got on stage and beautifully demonstrated how she may be sucking some dick. As a person who is an advocate for women being out here sucking dick, I felt dope. I felt that was incredible, and I was so happy that somebody was able to do it publicly in a way where it's no longer describing through words what you would do, but actually showing it.
And I also want to shout out Tina Turner, because Tina Turner walked so that Jill Scott can fly. There was a video of Tina Turner performing, and she was doing something very similar.
To that, yeah.
I never knew that.
Her quiver, I saw it. I saw
it's like it's an old video. It's like back in the day. So
and let's not forget Janet Jackson.
Oh, and Janet Jackson.
Little Kim. I mean, shit.
Yes. I mean, even homegirl who sang "My Neck, My Back," look my.
Oh yes, Kia.
I feel like people. It was very polarizing because I feel like a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, it's good for her," but then other people were like, "That's not part of her brand." You know, people know her from like, "Why
if
did I
she's
get
doing
married?"
it, it's a part of her brand.
You know.
Yeah.
But then a lot of like funny shit came out of it too. Like people were making like parody videos of like pretending to be like her ex-boyfriend, calling her, like trying to FaceTime her, like, yo, I just want to know if I can have another chance.
God.
Like her responding like, you will never understand.
You will. Listen.
So Suraiyah, what do you think that given this, like, do you think that this is a moment where women need to take notes and start like feeling empowered to suck more dick, or how about the women who are just like ill?
I mean, I think everybody's here. You know, this is the weird thing. As sex positive as I am, you know, I was a sex educator for like a really popular toy store chain for a couple of years, so I know the language. You know, I'm all about it. I'm all about liberation. I'm all about free sexual expression. Again, I'm against like respectability politics, but seeing the video, I think I saw it hyped up so much, you know, and like a lot of the people that I'm connected to via social media are other comedians, which is really fucking annoying, because they have to like, you know,
they have to
I don't even know what a regular, I don't know what other people are experiencing online at this point, you know, dealing with their friends or their family. I have that. But then I have mostly like other comedians. So it's just like a topic gets fucking talked to death before you're like, damn, I didn't even see the movie yet. Like, fuck.
Right.
So by the time I was just like, oh, okay, what are we doing? Now I'm very familiar with Jill Scott's work. You know, like I love her music. It's very sensual. I think she's always been that way. Like she doesn't strike me as someone who would be bad at fucking fellatio.
Right.
You know, like you don't strike me like you strike. Right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That all being said, when I saw the video, I was a little bit like, it was a little. What was annoying to me wasn't. No, it wasn't that serious, and that's not to shade. That's not to shade.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I've been fucking.
When I saw it, low-key, I was like, that's what I do. I could do that.
And it's not anti Scott. It's more just like, are you mean to tell me you men are having such like y'all are having these terrible fucking experiences where this is some nuanced shit to you? Right. That's fucking dick sucking 101. Like what are we doing here? Right. Why don't you speak up and say what the fuck you like? So for me, it was more just like a basic kind of thing where it's like, yeah, okay, all right. So she's looking at the hand, getting the balls wet. All right, she's playing with the tank. Cool. Yeah. Like this is all shit that I know. So I don't need to take notes. Yeah. I think if anybody else, if there are any women out there who took something away from it, that's wonderful. But this idea that it's like, this ain't nothing new. Like, bitches been knowing how to suck some dick. Like,
yeah.
Why don't y'all ask what the fuck? Why don't y'all ask what y'all want? Ask for what you want. But also, men, be better at sex. Because most women that I know, here's another part, have invested time into actually educating themselves about what it takes to pleasure a male partner.
Yes.
They have gone to, women will take fucking classes. If there was a class in college that we could have taken for that shit, we would have, because we've been taught that it is really, really important to please you guys. So my thing is just like, y'all are all getting so fucking excited about this shit. Well, where's my video of fucking, who do I like right now? Where's my video of Michael B. Jordan, air cunnilingus something? You know, like I want to see, and I'm sorry, LB Jordan. I don't mean to objectify you like that. But
you better shut the fuck up and take this. Fuck out of here.
I call him LB Jordan. That's my name for him. Darling, I love you if you're listening. We in here. We got this. Creed 2.
I want to see Common eat some pussy.
He's hot.
Common don't do it for me. Common do not do it for me.
Common sensual poetic ass can come eat some sensual pussy any day. I would sit on his face in 2 seconds.
Well, that was my immediate reaction, because I know that like
basic. It's like we've been doing this shit.
Because my immediate reaction was like, I know that, 13-year-old, 12-year-old me was jerking off to watching Usher and Trey Songz and all these male artists literally bring a girl up and simulate like they were fucking her.
Right.
So why was it this big deal when Jill Scott did it? Like, it just didn't make sense.
Because she doesn't fit the typical narrative of what a supposed hoe is or what a loose woman is. You have certain women who get to pass as being respectable and conscious and things like that, and then you have other women who don't get to do that. Yes. They get labeled hoes for different reasons. So that's why it was so like, oh well. Meanwhile, it's like, we're just women.
Yep.
Jill Scott is a woman. She's a woman probably before anything else. You know, like. This is just her. This is what she does. And there's no, like, that's what bothers me about respectability shit. It's this idea that there's good women and there's bad women. There's thoughts. No. Newsflash. We all some fucking thoughts.
Yeah.
But thought doesn't exist.
Right.
Being a thought, that's not a real thing. It does not fucking exist.
Yeah.
The same way, like, and this is what men need to be caught up to. You guys need to wrap your minds around this idea that you are not the only, like, you're not the more sexual of our species. You tend to enjoy sex in greater numbers.
Yes.
Women, I've noticed, tend to enjoy sex in better quality.
Yes.
We want quality. We want quality fucking,
yes.
and we sometimes we want quantity fucking too, but we still want it to be quality. Y'all motherfuckers, it's like a numbers game. That's why y'all so like, oh my god, this is some out of world shit, and it's just like, no, this is basic shit.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll even add to that like the same way people are like, wow, Jill Scott. I feel like I've always had that experience. Like when I graduated high school and I was more loose at the mouth about sex stuff, people are like, whoa, Julissa, when did you get so sexual? And I'm like, what do you mean when I got? I've been wet
after
since
puberty?
I was fucking. I've always been wet. I always used to get hard. I always knew. I just didn't know how to articulate it. I didn't always feel comfortable. And then there came a point where I was like, oh, I'm comfortable saying this because I realized I actually don't give a fuck what you think about the fact that I like to do these things. So fuck you. But, a Jill Scott is also not the type of woman, and I feel like I identify with this, that the guys are quick to jump on. So it's almost like, ooh, yeah, it's the big girls, it's the quiet, the ones you don't expect. And so there was a lot of that stigma
because they associate bigness with not being sexual
enough. So we have to compensate by being good
oversexed.
At head. I have to oversex ourselves so that it's worth him downgrading to my body type.
Meanwhile, we all fucking freaks.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, you a freak. Nick, we all fucking freaks.
Yep.
If you bring, like, here's the thing that a lot of men don't realize is that, like, if you create a space with a woman, with a partner that is comfortable, that is safe, where there's consent, there's space to explore, to be open, even if you don't want to engage in every single sexual activity, at least if you can talk about it and be open and honest, you will have somebody who will be willing to do things with you that you guys can test the limits of your pleasure. Whereas so many guys operate in this space of very just like basic understanding of female anatomy, female pleasure, their own fucking pleasure, and they stop themselves from a lot of shit. Like they'll be sitting here thinking like, oh, this type of woman is sexy, or this type of woman is, she must have a lot of sex. A lot of us do, and it's okay if you don't.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to push one narrative on women. But what they don't realize is, like, you not bringing that shit out of her.
Yeah.
You're not freaky.
Yeah.
You're not explorative. You're not well versed on how to do certain things. You don't know where the clit is.
Right.
You don't know how to have fucking anal sex. You don't know that a woman doesn't always self fucking lubricate.
Yeah.
You don't know these things. And because you don't know these very, very basic fucking things, no, I don't want to play with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm going to give you the basic ass shit because you're giving me basic ass dick.
Yeah.
Bars.
I'm gonna give you that basic ass shit because you're giving me that basic ass dick. You heard it here first on Ladies with Brunch.
Yes. Yes.
Suraiyah Ortiz, Ortiz clan all day. Fuck out of here, Pisces gang.
Ortiz funeral home.
Yo.
Just kill all of y'all motherfuckers. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Of course. And tell us, where can we find you on social media? Shout outs, up and coming shows, things like that.
I am so I'm on Instagram as rye.uh. That's rye.uh. I'm on Twitter at Suraiyah. That's SUE_RYE_UH. I have a show. What's today? Is today Sunday?
Today's Sunday.
Shit, I'm losing track of time. I have a show tomorrow at Lap Dance Saloon on the Lower East Side at 9:00. It's free. You should get there early because it tends to get pretty packed. But I'm doing that tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that show. It should be a lot of fun. And I've got some other projects coming up that I can't exactly speak on right now. But but BX, just know I fucks with y'all.
BX?
I fucks with the BX.
Nice.
I got a love-hate relationship with y'all, but I fuck with you. And
BX.
yeah, it's our time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think it's our fucking time.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And you can follow us at Ladies Who Bronche on Facebook and Instagram, at Ladies Bronche on Twitter. Thanks so much for listening this week. And until next time, Bronche.
Bronche.